together. Breathe in and let go. So good morning again. If you don't know me already, I'm Reverend Elisha Christopher. I'm the spiritual director of the Center for Spiritual Living here in Santa Cruz. I do use they and them pronouns. My ancestors come to us from all over the world, some indigenous to this continent. The ones that we know immigrated here came here through Ireland, Scotland, Austria, and Holland. And we do this each week because part of our culture is to remember that America is truly a nation of immigrants, and we bring our ancestors into the room to keep claiming that truth. So we're going to do something a little bit different today, at least to get started. We had a new member orientation and meeting last Sunday, and there's a number of folks who have stepped up and stepped in and made the claim to call this community their home community. And we just want to take a moment to welcome these folks who stepped in and said, CSL Santa Cruz is my spiritual home. And so if you were one of the folks who attended that meeting last week who said, yes, this is my new spiritual community, would you be willing, if you're able, to stand up and just come right up in front, right up in here? You don't even have to come up on the stage, but do come up here. And Reverend Kathy, if you'd come up as well, because we want to welcome you, because I know this is your intention, and you and I are going to meet about this. So we've got some new folks we're just going to introduce you to very briefly. And I'm going to come down with the microphone, and I'm going to ask each of you just to tell us your name. And we want to know, what's one gift that you bring to this community? Perhaps it's just your love or your open heart or desire to be of service. But whatever that is, we want to welcome you. And so if you would, tell us your name and what's one gift that you bring to this community.
My name is Reverend Kathy Nichols, and I bring love and light.
Welcome.
My name is Francesca Graziano, and joy.
My name is Willow Citron, and I'm new here, and I bring my love and excitement.
I'm Kathy Peterson Zianti, and I bring my rainbow name, Sunshine.
My name is Lisa Gonzalez, and I bring my love and open-heartedness.
Beautiful. Okay, stay up here for just a second. I'm also going to let you know that Megan Skeen and her little 2-year-old Sage are now members of our community, as well as Chris Greenwood as well. Neither of them could be here today, but I told them I would let y'all know that they have said yes and stepped in. I'm going to switch microphones. All right, this is the part where the rest of us get to welcome them. So if you would, stand up, rub your hands together. Place your hands forward, send some love and energy, and if you would, repeat after me. Beloveds, we see who you are. You are the image and likeness of God. You are the presence of love on earth. You are my opportunity to see God reflected back at me. We welcome your gifts into our community. And we look forward to deepening in love with you. Welcome. So thank you, friends, for joining us. If you would, have a seat. And so it's just a brief welcome, but truly know that that welcome comes with open hearts. Because community is really what we're here for. And there's a story that actually came up in our class this week that was told by one of the students, which you didn't know when you shared it. I was planning on telling that story this morning. So there's a story that I've told here a couple times over the last number of years that's called The Rabbi's Gift. Does anybody know this story if I tell it? Yeah. So there's this story. It comes from us from from a long time ago. There's a story of a monastery that in its heyday was the spiritual center of its community. And for many years, it thrived and served the community, and people came and went, and the monastery was truly just a hub of spiritual activity. And over many, many years, the monastery starts to become run down. The families leave, the people go away. And over many, many years, there's maybe just a small handful of monks and nuns who are left, and no one comes anymore. And so the abbot, the head of the monastery, has a relationship with a hermit rabbi who lives kind of down the road. And so they go and they have, tea and discuss philosophy and spirituality together. And so one day the abbot is going to visit with the rabbi, and he talks about the desperate state of their community, that no one comes to Mass, that there's infighting between the brothers and the sisters, that the paint is running down and the murals are, getting dusty, and there's really no energy to keep it up. And he says, our community's dying. And he asks the rabbi, he says, do you have any insight, any advice for how we can bring life back into our community? And he says, I really don't know what to tell you. And so they finish their conversation, and the abbot gets up to leave, and as he approaches the door, the rabbi says, but there's one thing you should know. The Messiah is among you. That one of you is the Messiah. So the abbot goes back and tells the nuns and the monks there, he says, well, the rabbi didn't really have much advice for me, but he did say that one of us here in this community is the Messiah. And so immediately each and every one of them says, well, it couldn't be me. But what happens is they start looking around at each other. Well, if the Messiah is here, if the Messiah is one of us, well, then who could it be? And so they start looking at each other's qualities. They start looking how each other is behaving, and they start asking questions within themselves. And so perhaps they look around the room and they go, if one of us is the Messiah, could it be Gitanjali? With her voice that takes us to God every single week? Could it be Molly with her wide open heart and her perspective looking for miracles? Perhaps it's Marcia and her passion for justice and care for humanity and for life. Perhaps it's Reverend Grace, who teaches us that you can live joyously in life regardless of all circumstance. And they all start to look around at each other and wonder, who could it be? And as this questioning starts to happen, even occasionally they might look at themselves and go, could it be me? And what starts to happen is as they are each looking for the Messiah in the community, a new energy starts to wake up. That this new vitality, this new depth, this new seeing starts to awaken. And at the same time, they notice that one day they wake up and there's a family having a picnic on the grass outside of the monastery. Another day, some people come by and just offer to help clean up the gardens or paint a wall. And over time, the community starts to come back to life. And the community starts to flourish, and they become a great service to the greater community again. And the only thing that changed was how they were choosing to see each other. And this story has been on my mind, one, because the theme for this week is something like community of possibility or transcending purpose of community or something like that. And we have these new folks that we're welcoming into this circle. And I've been thinking a lot about just how important this thing called community is. And we come into this space to be reminded that we're here to look for God. We may not be looking for the Messiah, but we're looking for divinity. We're looking for truth. We're looking for love. We're looking for oneness. We're looking for connection. And we come into this space each week to be reminded of that because we're living in a world right now that continuously tells us to look for the division and the separation. Look for the things that separate you from each other. And look what happens when we walk around with that perspective. Perspective is powerful. And there is a lot of narrative around look for the separation, look for the division, look for all the ways that we're different, and look what that's creating. But what happens when we choose to walk through the world and look for the connection? Look for the places where we are the same. Look for the common truths. Look for the things that unite us. You know, we're here at the Resource Center for Nonviolence. Right? Dr. King taught us about this concept of beloved community. That beloved community is a community where our differences bring us together. Where all the ways that we may not be the same are places for us to celebrate and learn from each other, not places for us to find more division and separation. And I really believe that that is our task, is to be looking for the oneness, is to be the agents of goodness in the world, because there is so much of this separation is out there, and the world needs us to be walking around with eyes wide open, looking with love. Because that's how the community changes. And the rundown monastery with all the infighting and all the things breaking down and no longer working kind of reminds me of a little bit of this great big community we're all part of called America, called planet Earth, right? And in order for us to shift the monastery, in order for us to change the container, we have to be the ones who are looking for the more. And perhaps it's just a shift in perspective is all that is needed to awaken something else. If a perspective can create the situation that we're in, a perspective can create the situation that gets us out of it. It's a change in thinking. It's a change in mind. It's a change in focus. And when we're looking for God in each other, as the monks were looking for the Messiah amongst themselves, what does it do? But it awakens something inside of us. Because what we are looking, how we are seeing, is reflecting something back to us. And the more we look for the good, the more it awakens within us, and then we realize that it is who we are. That we came here to be the good that we are looking for. Right? Be the change you're looking for. And so that's our task. That's the call. Is for us to continue to build this beloved community right here. To continuously create space where we can come in and be reminded of the truth of who we are, of how we want to live in the world, so that then we can carry that out with us, so that we can be the place where a new way of being is showing up. The world needs each one of us right now to step up in love, to speak our truth, to stand up for truth. And as I said last week, we've crossed a tipping point in this country. And you watch the language that's coming out of this government. There is a war being called for in consciousness. There is violence being called for. And the only thing we have to fight against that is each other and love. That love is our weapon in this war. It is our power. And that we have to build community of resiliency. We have to build community of interdependence. We have to build community of deep love and seeing. Because this community, this container, this love that we are cultivating, this is the thing that's going to carry us through. We cannot survive desperate times on our own. We are interdependent and mutually dependent. And it is our love and care for each other that is going to lift us up. And it is that cultivation of a deeper love that is going to lead us out of this nighttime and bring us to morning. So take a deep breath and let it go. And take another breath in. And if it's comfortable, drop in a little deeper. Let eyes fall closed if it's comfortable. And as we breathe, I invite us to remember the one who is breathing. What I know is that there is indeed one life, one power, one presence, one source of light, one source of truth, one source of love and peace and goodness. And I call it God. But what I know is that this infinite presence is consciousness. It is life. It is truly the thing that is living and breathing, animating, unfolding, evolving in, through, and as all of existence. And I know that this one is driven to evolve. I know that this one is driven to expand. I know that this one continues to grow towards the more. And so I call that infinite presence into my awareness, into each one of our awareness in this room, right here and right now, to be reminded that we are sourced by the infinite source, that we are connected to the one life. And so as we remember that truth, then let the infinite love shine through our eyes. Let the truth speak through us. Let the power that stands for justice, for goodness, for love, let it act through us, through our hands and our feet and our choices, through the way that we walk in the world and the way that we show up. Let each one of us be the light of the world. We are the peacemakers. We are the children of love. And in this moment, we are being called forward because we claim to be love, we claim to be light, we claim to be truth, we claim to stand for justice. And what we know is that when we say we want to be or do something, the universe shows up and gives us everything necessary to say, "You really sure?" And so I know that every circumstance, everything necessary for each one of us to evolve into the greater love, for each one of us to stand in a greater truth, for each one of us to embody a greater power, that the circumstances are calling us right now, saying, stand up, speak up, love bigger and louder than ever before. And so we stand in truth, we stand in love, we stand together. And so I celebrate this beloved community. I celebrate who we are. I celebrate who we are becoming. I celebrate the love that is here. And I celebrate that we still have the freedom to speak this truth. And so I surrender to what is. I invite us to let go into the moment, to remember that there is a flow greater than we are. There is a power greater than we are. There is an energy greater than we are aware of that is moving through us. And when we surrender to it, it can carry us, it can act through us, it can speak through us. And so let us open to the more as we let it be in gratitude. I say, and so it is.